Hi everyone. Let's talk about Charli XCX. Forgot to adjust my camera. There we go. Okay, there we go. Alright. Charli XCX is a quarantine queen who has been making music ever since like the early part of the 2010s. She's gotten famous off of some of the singles that landed on the, I believe it was the Fault in Our Stars soundtrack. You know, the song Boom Clap. Oh, and ELECTROPOP and that song that they did together. I love it. Which is a song that I absolutely love and is in some way almost proto whatever Charli's been doing nowadays. She's been very forward-thinking, very experimental, especially on her last album, Charli. An album that I like, but I have my reservations with it. She's also put out #1 Angel and Pop 2, as well as the Vroom Vroom EP. That was about the time she started to transition to this darker, more experimental, and more forward-thinking pop star. Definitely taking a lot of cues from PC Music, as well as working with PC Music's executive producer, A.G. Cook. I've been very excited to see where Charli XCX can evolve after the 2019 album Charli, which I saw potential in, but I just felt like it was not enough Charli and a little too poppy for me as well. Look, there are songs on that album that I really love, like the opening track, but in the long run, the album just fell short for me. But I was really anticipating this new album over here because, well, the singles were really good. Forever, Claws, I Finally Understand. She did not miss with a damn single. And she had a mission to make this album completely in quarantine because of the whole COVID-19 crisis that's been going around. She decided to take it upon herself to make an album entirely from scratch during quarantine. It was a pretty ambitious idea for Charli, but I was really excited to see what would come out of this quarantine session. Now, she pretty much stuck with her guns, unlike a particular band that hasn't even released their album yet, the 1975. She has stuck to her guns, and she released the album on time. And from one track to the next, on this 11-track album, this album is great. This album's awesome. This album's great. And I am so damn happy this thing is as good as it is. For one, this is everything that I saw in that Charli album in 2019. Like, this is everything I saw. The production, while still having some pop elements to it, isn't the same kind of pop that is in the mainstream. It isn't as poppy as some of the stuff on Charli, but it isn't as noisy as some of the most abrasive moments on that album are. You even have a sequel to one of the songs off of Charli, Click, which is now titled C 2.0 on this album. This is an improvement from front to back, in my opinion. The songs on here are incredibly infectious, they're catchy, and for pop songs, they're just incredibly good. You start off with the track Pink Diamond, which is probably the punchiest song on this album, and to come along with this punch, you also have this amazing hook from Charli in this almost monotone delivery. I just want to go real hard, pink diamond in the dark. These synth stabs that are absolutely piercing in the best way possible. Also the kick, the goddamn percussion on this track is immensely hard. Like, holy crap. Especially towards the latter half of the song, literally the end moments of this track is just an extremely abrasive kick pattern. It is, oh my god. You then get Forever, one of the singles to this album. Amazing song, by the way. You start off with this incredibly noisy little bit of, I don't know, whatever it is, and then it quickly transitions into a more mellow, more forthcoming track with these really beautiful synth melodies that are going underneath whatever Charli is saying. And the songwriting on this song in particular is great. I mean, love, suicide, you and I, drove for miles, knew I'd be here with you, knew I'd be here with you. And then the chorus kicks in, I will always love you, I love you forever. It's insanely catchy, immensely pretty, beautiful, and it's probably the song that closely resembles like a genuine pop song. Claws was another teaser track to this album that I really enjoyed. The production from Dylan Brady of 100 gecs fame, it does stand out like a sore thumb in the track listing, but it doesn't even matter because the song is incredible. Again, it is another song that is catchy as hell. Like your mind, like your smile, like your eyes, I could die. I like everything about you. I like everything about you. It's fun as hell, it's punchy, it's abrasive, but it's done right. It's done with ease. There's a perfect balance between noisiness and poppiness to this song in particular, and to a lot of the songs on this album. And the outro to the song is insane too, like, damn, man, damn. You then get like a middle portion of this album where the songs don't hit as hard, but they're still incredibly catchy, like the track 7 Years or the track Detonate as well. And don't get me wrong, these songs have a good punch to them, but they're not as colorful or as vibrant as the first few tracks. But even then, the songwriting is also really good too. Also, the songwriting on this entire album is really good for a pop album. Maybe I would want a little bit of a better songwriting in general, but still, I'm not coming to a pop album to get the best songwriting. That's really only a plus in my opinion. All you really need for a good pop album, in my opinion, is a great set of hooks. Choruses that can get trapped in your mind like earworms. That's really all you need. Also, amazing production too, like damn. And speaking of production, the track Detonate has some really beautiful production to it. These synth chords that flutter back and forth on this track are a really nice touch. The track Enemy, which I didn't really even know was teased as a single up until this point, but I would maybe say this is my least favorite track. I think it has to deal with much more of the vocal snippet in this track rather than the song itself. Look, I can listen to the song all day long, but in the context of this album, it just doesn't really strike the same chord with me as the rest of the songs do. But hey, the production is really good, the songwriting is decent as well. And then you get the insanely catchy two-step throwback. I finally understand what's with so many hooks on this album being so damn good. Again, the two-step percussion pattern on this is insanely, what's the word? Groovy, just fun, and it kind of reminds me of like the 2000s era like dance scene for some reason, which isn't the only time it reminds me of that. The song Anthems calls back to that scene like a fucking telephone, but we'll get to that song in a moment. We then get to the sequel of the song Click, C 2.0. The noisy production comes back into the fold, it's a little more apparent on this song, and the incessant hook on this track is just too much for me not to like. Just look at this damn thing. The track Party For You is easily a standout amongst the rest of the songs on here. I mean, I do love a lot of songs on this album, but this one really, for some reason, stands out to me. I love how cinematic this song feels during the last leg of the track. It's almost like a grand finale of some way. But simultaneously, if I saw this song at the end of the album, I would be somewhat disappointed, because it feels like a somber goodbye instead of like a theatrical ending, which the last two tracks, Anthems and Visions, call for. The track Anthems is absolutely anachronistic with its almost simplistic synth line that it's been repeated over and over and over again. It reminds me of, and forgive me for this comparison, it kind of reminds me of like the really annoying synths on like a crunkcore song, except it's done so much better on this track. And this track introduces us back into the punchy angle of this album. Just the explosion in the chorus with the I want anthems, late night, my friends, New York. I think I've listened to this album too much, but I don't care. Visions is the last track on the album, and it kind of reminds me of like a nightcore song. The synth lines on this track in particular are also somewhat simplistic, but they still feel fresh in some way. And I don't really think Charli was trying to reinvent the wheel of pop music on this album. She really was, again, making an album for herself and for every one of her fans. So on one angle, yes, it's not as forward-thinking as Charli was. I'm not gonna say that it is. But on the other hand, I would argue this is just more catchy, more fun, more infectious than Charli. The production is equally bombastic and just overall the songwriting is really good too. Could be better, but still. In my opinion, it's a trimmed down and fully realized version of what Charli was, and it is also one of her best albums yet. Fun, infectious, catchy as hell, bombastic, forward-thinking, experimental production, just insanely fun pop. The one thing I would add is I would like to see her vocally better. You know, the auto-tune is nice, but it could get a little tiresome after a while. And again, the songwriting could be improved on a little bit, just a little bit. And overall, I wish this was a little more consistent as well. But nonetheless, this is probably one of my favorite albums thus far this year. It is the heftiest, the strongest of A-minuses. However, I am curious to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on this album down below? Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that is it. Leave a like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below. Remember, this is only my opinion, because music is subjective.